wanted to nourish my soul, nourish her soul, that we can be big, strong people like Popeye. That's in my hand. I could be her Popeye and she could be my olive oil. So,
Amen.
Amen. she's like, look, black people, speed it up. Hey creeps, and welcome back to my channel. As you already know, you can't sit with me unless you are POP, and that is pretty on purpose. How you doing? And obviously that means my friend is pretty because she's sitting with me. So I told her I want her to come on my channel because she was on Instagram and I saw a post that she had put and it was talking about some things that she has gone through in life. And I'm gonna read the post. Well, let me read it after we do our blessing. I told her I want to. By the way, this is Rachel. Look, she's like, look, hospitality, sir. This is Rachel. You want to say anything to anybody?
Hey.
She was like, am I okay? This is gonna be good. She's like, I'm so nervous. I'm like, girl, you're fine. So I thought it was cute. She got her little neck on the shoes. She's so sweet. Okay, so I asked her to cook me something because I want to do a mukbang and talk about the situation and everything. And she's like, okay, well, what do you want? I was like, whatever you want to cook. She's like, oh. She's like, I'm going to cook casserole. I said, oh, that's what all white people cook.
That is not all I cook.
I was like, okay, casserole. So what are we eating today, Rachel?
It's like a chicken pot pie noodle casserole.
And so I was like, well, can you give us a little asparagus or something? So she gave us that. So I always start my mukbangs off with a prayer. Okay. So let's do that. I'm going to hold her hand. Here we go. God is great. God is good. Let us thank him for our food. Bow our heads, so I'll be fed. Give us our daily bread. Our Lord shall shepherd. I shall not want. God, thank you for allowing Rachel to cook me this good old Caucasian European casserole. It's going to be delicious. Little chicken pot pies in it. She has a dog. I hope the dog didn't jump on the counter and lick it and stuff, but it's okay. The dog's mouth is better than the human's mouth. What classic. But thank you for all the good food. Thank you for this wonderful, I can say spaghetti. This asparagus. I wanted to nourish my soul, nourish her soul, that we can be big, strong people like Popeye. That's in my hand. I could be her Popeye and she could be my olive oil. So,
Amen.
Amen. she's like, look, black people, speed it up. Okay, thank you, amen. All right. Are you nervous eating in front of people?
Yeah.
Girl, you don't just think I eat it. No, I just eat and talk. It's like a dinner date and
Chicken noodle.
Oh, this is actually really, really, really good.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's actually really good. Let me tell you. The other white thing is, did you put any salt and pepper in this? I don't think it's salt and pepper. No, it's actually really good. You did, but I don't taste it. Look, white people don't season a lot. Like she said, look, I'll put a pinch. But no, I don't really like a lot of seasoning, so it's actually really good.
Well, and the asparagus, all I did was salt and pepper and olive oil.
Let me see from here.
You gotta taste the asparagus. And I like them crunchy. I'm sorry.
No, I do too.
Okay.
No, these are good. You know, crunch is good. It's good for the camera. Crunchy. Okay. I be swallowing loud. I don't really chew. Like I only chew like 3 seconds and swallow, so you have to help me out. I gotta learn how to chew right. So, because everybody on my thing like, Zoe, you're just swallowing, you're not chewing. I'm like, it'd be too good. What she wrote on her Instagram was, I hate leaving vague posts, which I know I did earlier, but I was sitting in the waiting room at Emory Hospital filled with anxiety. I felt like I needed extra hope and love and wanted to reach out, but I wasn't ready to talk about what was happening. I was in the process of having a miscarriage and I was waiting to go back to pre-op for a procedure called a DNC. This was my 3rd miscarriage. This has all been a very hard process, and a major thing that I've noticed is that no one talks about miscarriages. It has somehow become this taboo thing that shouldn't be talked about. It's more common than most people think, but it's painful on so many levels. Not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. I have a problem with feeling that as a woman, I was failing by not being able to carry a baby. That's not accurate, of course, but it's hard to fight those thoughts. It's hard to not feel alone when no one talks about it. So I'm putting myself out there and I'm letting everyone know I don't think that this should be some hush-hush subject. I think we should be here for each other, talk about it and listen. Even if it's something you haven't gone through, someone you know has, and they would probably benefit from a hug and you just letting them talk. So yeah, there it is. Here I am. I will win this. I will not be taken down. I am strong. I am open. I am wise. And I'm ready for this lesson. Oh, friend! That was so sweet. So, before I get into questions, like, you said you had 3 miscarriages. How? I'm ready to eat this. How did that like make you feel going through all that? Because I'm a man. I'm never gonna be able to feel that situation. I don't know how to say it's gonna be okay. How did that make you feel?
It made me feel like crap,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. With my first miscarriage, it actually messed with me so bad I had to get on medication.
Mm-hmm.
I had to take antidepressants and anti-anxiety because it messed with my life.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't function, and I do have a 4-year-old daughter.
Okay, was she okay? So was that she's your very first
She was
child?
my very first child.
Mm-hmm.
So my pregnancy with her was perfect.
Okay.
Like, no issues, no high blood pressure. I'm actually a quite healthy big girl.
Okay.
No high blood pressure, no high cholesterol,
Mm-hmm.
no diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
no gestational diabetes, which is diabetes when you're pregnant.
Okay, and somebody asked in a question, do you have fibroids? They heard they think fibroids cause that too. Do you have that or
I
anything?
don't.
Okay.
So, we went into the doctor's office when I got a positive pregnancy test thinking Clara was super easy.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be nothing.
Yeah.
So, all doctors make you wait until 8 weeks to go in. And then they do an ultrasound
Mm-hmm.
to see how far along you actually are,
Yeah.
give you a due date and all this, and no heartbeat.
So
I had no idea that
So-
there was any issues.
you didn't feel anything? There wasn't like, you didn't know anything? It's just...
No, my body I was still nauseous. I still just, all of the regular symptoms. I
Mhm.
had no idea. I thought, I started crying automatically.
Mhm.
And I said, well, maybe my dates are off. Can we wait a week and I'll come back?
Mm-hmm.
And so we did. And I came back and there was still no heartbeat. And the baby hadn't grown from the 7 weeks
Mm-hmm.
that it was at when I went for my first ultrasound.
Yeah. So like, how do you? She's like, I'm trying to eat too. How did they end up getting that out? Does it just flush out on its own, or they have to remove it?
It can. So I have experienced both.
Mm-hmm.
With my first miscarriage, I had a D&C, which is where they medically remove it.
Mm-hmm.
Because my doctor knew that I had had depression issues before,
Mhm.
and she felt like it would just be easier for me.
Mhm.
Which, yes and no.
To remove it, let
Just
them.
her remove it
Mhm.
instead of me passing naturally.
Because you had depression. If you and like, did you have to do that in like a toilet?
I could get to that.
Okay. Okay.
So they knock you out for it.
Okay. So what do they do? You don't know because you're asleep.
I haven't looked it up because I don't.
You don't want to know.
I don't really want to know.
Mhm.
But I mean, I know they take it out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Kind of like when they do like abortions. Kind of like.
yeah, I guess.
Okay. She's like, I said I don't want to talk about it.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But I woke up crying, like when they woke me up from.
Because you knew.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I woke up crying. Lots of crying. I hurt a lot with my first one after the D&C and had
What does that pain feel like?
a really bad period.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad cramping.
Does it hurt to like pee and stuff too?
No, it doesn't hurt to pee.
Uh-huh.
But lots of bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Like
How long does that last?
it just depends. It lasted about a week
Mhm.
or two. But that was all not fun.
Yeah.
And then, I'm not saying that it's fun.
Right, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's like.
And then the second time I got pregnant, well, not the second time, but my second miscarriage, we went in a little early since there was issues the last time.
Yeah, you want to take your precautions and stuff.
Right. And everything, it was actually twins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And both?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Because they thought, well, maybe, well, I went in and everything was fine. I was only showing it 5 weeks
Mm-hmm.
there, so I was early.
Okay.
And I started bleeding a little bit
Mm-hmm.
afterwards. And then they put me on progesterone because they noticed it was a little low, and that's a hormone that helps your pregnancy and helps you stay pregnant and keeps the baby growing and everything. And a couple of weeks went by, and I actually had gone back and forth because I felt like I was bleeding too much at one point, and they told me I had a subchorionic hemorrhage.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm getting too into detail, but
No, huh?
which is like a blood in between your cervix and all of this. So that's what they said it was.
And you still have a baby if that's happening, right?
Yeah, you can still have a baby fine. I know someone that had one, subchorionic hemorrhage, and she had a baby, no issues.
Yeah.
But my daughter actually went out to dinner with my mom and my sister one night, and my niece, and Matt and I were home, and I was sitting on the floor. I don't remember what I was doing on the floor. But then I got up, and blood just
fell. Oh my God, what was that? In that moment, what were you thinking? Like, how did you feel?
I was just in shock.
You already know what it was, or you didn't know?
You just sort of know, especially with the amount of blood. Like, we had to throw the rug away. We went to the hospital because I felt like I was bleeding more just to be safe, and that's what the doctor told me to do. Like, if you feel like you're bleeding too much, go to the hospital, and the hospital was terrible. I ended up starting the cramping of the miscarriage at the hospital. It took them 4 hours to even get me back.
Wow.
That's a whole other issue. And then the doctor was like, yep, you're having a miscarriage.
Did he even try to comfort you or anything?
No, that's what he was like, yeah, you're having a miscarriage, you can go home. I was like, no shit.
Right.
Like, no shit, thank you. I just had a miscarriage in your bathroom. Like, I know
So they
that.
didn't even do anything? They just said, this is it, you can go home, something we can do?
He's like, what do you want? I can give you a prescription. And I'm like,
oh,
sir, it's
wow.
11 p.m. What exactly do you think I can do right now? So I went home and had the worst night of my life, and my poor husband's worst night of his life too.
Y'all can, in the comments, write, like, you know, if you've ever been through a miscarriage, how did it make you feel? So y'all can talk to each other. You may find a friend in the comments who you can, like, hit up, and y'all can discuss it to each other. Since we can't, like, answer it right here, y'all can talk to someone else who's in the comments who's went through it. Or if we don't answer some of your questions, y'all can, you know, discuss amongst each other. So I went on my Instagram and I was like, okay, y'all tell me some questions that y'all want me to ask her. And y'all had so many, but I picked out the ones that stood out to me. And somebody said, what were some of your coping mechanisms that you had to do after you had, like, your miscarriage? Like, how did you cope with it and get through it?
I don't recommend this for everyone, but I bought a dog. Because
everybody can't handle a dog. Sure.
Everybody can handle a dog, and he's a big fur ball of craziness. But I just tried to focus on the positive things in my life, and I know that's easier said than done.
Right.
I traveled a lot. I just went wherever I could.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds very, like, does that sound bougie? It sounds a little
no,
bit.
I mean, even if you don't, like I tell people, like, even if you can't travel out of state, just go somewhere. Like, if it's just down the street to, like, a pool or bowling, or just do something.
Yeah, just especially sometimes just with yourself. You have to start to enjoy you too, and realize that shit happens.
Yeah, yeah, so true.
And it sucks, and it sucks really bad. I didn't have a lot of people around me who had been through the same thing.
Yeah, that's what another question was. Did you have, like, sisters or cousins that went through it that could help you get through that? So you didn't have anybody. Did that make it tougher?
I have a friend in North Carolina who's been through it. Most women are going to be able to just understand how you feel anyways, just on a personal level.
Yeah, because y'all are more emotionally attached to yourselves. When one woman sees somebody crying in the movie, they'll start crying. She's like, I don't even know how I'm crying. And guys are like, what's going on? So yeah, exactly. I understand. I totally understand that.
And I'm a very, like, empathic person, and I care about everybody. So you also just reach out to other people just in general to help them. Sometimes helping others helps you too.
So true. That's what my granddaddy always used to say. He was like, Lord, help me so I can help myself, so I can help somebody else. That's what he always used to say. So that stuck with me. So the next question was, what does it do to you mentally?
It makes you feel like you're less of a woman. Because, I mean, we all have the stereotypical things like, woman's here to cook, have babies, raise the family. I don't know. I can't explain. Like, in your head, you're just like,
I failed or something.
I failed. 100%. Like, I have a child, and I'm so blessed to have her.
Did you feel bad because you felt like you let your husband down? Like, I couldn't have your baby?
I apologized to him, and he was like, I'm sorry.
Another question was your husband, was he supportive, or did he not know what to do? Did you want him to leave you alone, or did you want him to be supportive?
He's my best friend. And I know that sounds like cliche.
No, that's good.
No, I couldn't have asked for a better support system from him. Like, he was there for everything,
and you wanted him there? Because, you know, some people are like, I don't want you around right now.
I mean, there are some times where I'm like, I'm closing the door. leave me alone. I'm gonna listen to my music or just, and he understands that. I couldn't have asked for a better support system with my husband.
That is so sweet.
He was great.
I wish I had me a support system, child, because all these guys I be talking to are a mess. Like they are.
He was a mess when I found him. A goofy mess.
Mine are just a mess, not even a goofy mess.
You have to find yourself a nerd.
What is it about the nerds, friend?
They just love. And they're already into their own thing. Like, he's an IT guy. So
he has something.
He is smart. Taught himself how to do IT stuff.
Right.
And we have things in common that are nerdy and goofy.
Right. So you just felt like you found you, but in the male version. So it's like
no, he's Yankee. It's different.
Right.
But I just found like the yin to my yang,
Okay.
where I'm like caring and nice. He'll tell someone to like fuck off.
Right. You can't. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
on the inside, you're probably like, yes, that's how you do it, babe. It's so funny. Okay, so the next one is things you can do to prevent this from happening.
There are different ways. They thought it was a progesterone problem with me, so go to LabCorp, get your blood drawn, let's do progesterone, HCG, see how it's going. Wasn't high enough. Automatically, right when he got the results, called in progesterone. A week later, okay, let's take it again, see where you are. More progesterone. So I ended up being on like 600 milligrams of progesterone a day, which felt like a lot, but...
But do you feel like that kind of stuff, pills and stuff, and medicine can cause those things too, because it's just so much?
Well, the progesterone I had to have. Your body produces it naturally, but my body wasn't producing enough for the pregnancy. But it didn't help, because it actually turns out I have the MTHFR.
What is that?
I'm not 100% on what exactly it is. They call it a gene mutation, and I have one copy where you could have two copies. So mine's not as bad as it could be. Your body doesn't take in like folic acid or B12 like it should. And when you're pregnant, besides the fact that your body needs the folate for the baby, it causes little blood clots to form in the placenta. So the baby eventually stops getting blood flow and nutrients. And that's why all of them ended up sort of stopping at 7 to 8 weeks.
So what happened on your third one? Because you had the first one, then the twins, and the third miscarriage. But the same thing.
That's what they think it is, because that's when they found out. They did a bunch of blood tests, and they're like, "Oh, you have one copy of the MTHFR gene," which I had never heard of anyway. I was like, "I'm sorry." Which I did. Right. Dr. Google always knows.
Right.
But it just, I have to take blood thinners, shots. Sometimes, my whole pregnancy. Just to keep everything, hopefully that will work for us the next time. They said whenever I'm ready
to try it again. Yeah. So do you want to try to have a baby again?
I do. I need a little bit more time.
So when was your last one?
Last Thursday.
This recently, and you're able to talk about it like this?
I want other women to know that it's okay to talk about it.
Wow, last Thursday. I'm sitting here talking to you so strong. It's like I feel like it was like a year ago, months ago. This is so recent.
The last two were last year.
Okay, and this one was last Thursday. Wow. So somebody had said, how many months into pregnancies can you have a miscarriage?
Nobody quote me.
Right, that you're aware of.
That I'm aware of. First trimester is the most common, and then your chance of having a miscarriage goes down dramatically in the second trimester. And then in the third trimester, it's not called a miscarriage. Not really.
What would you call it then? Like, just...
It would just depend on what happened.
What happened, okay. For mothers who are self-cautious about having babies because of miscarriages, what would you tell them? Like, people are like, I want to have a baby, but I'm scared to have a miscarriage.
Honestly, the outcome of having a baby is worth the risk of a miscarriage. To have the joy of having that little stinker.
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
And do you feel that worrying about it while you're pregnant, that can cause a miscarriage too? Or
I mean, a lot of people, and that I tried really hard to stay positive too.
Mm-hmm. So I know that has to be tough, like, especially if you had one, like, thinking that, like, is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? It's like, I feel like that'll put stress on you.
It does. I kept trying to meditate and sing and just breathe and nap.
Napping's always good.
Just because it is scary. It's really scary. I'm actually surprised I'm not crying yet.
I know, that's good. That you're being like so strong. That's really good.
It's just, you do what you have to do. And I want my daughter to have a sibling because I know the joys of having a sibling.
Yeah.
Where my only child husband doesn't really get it, but he would love another child anyways. Besides the fact that I just want to hold a baby. And the sibling connection is just something that...
Yeah, that you feel other kids should have.
Yeah.
Look, while I was reading for some more questions, she was like, do you want more? Because it might be casserole. I ate it all. So the other question was, well, you already said, you answered it, because it was like, do you just want to just give up and not have any more babies? But did you want to give up at a time?
The second miscarriage with the twins that I had at home, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. It hurt bad, besides the fact that it felt like it sort of tainted my house too, because of this trauma that I went through in my home. But I got over it.
Yeah. Would this be the last time? Like, you're just like, you know what? Maybe it's meant for me to just have my beautiful daughter.
I mean, my husband and I talked about adoption and things too. I don't know. I just have to see when I get there. Because after the second one, I said, well, I'm not going to do this again.
Yeah.
And then I had a surprise, like, oh, you're about to leave for California. And guess what? Can't do anything you planned.
Right. So before we wrap it up, friends, she's like, I couldn't even eat it in my bag. But it's okay. We're going to kill it after we're gone. But is there anything that you just want to get off of your heart to people watching, or something that you want to say or you think needs to be said for mothers or soon-to-be mothers who are out there who are going to have babies, having a baby, going through pregnancy, whatever, just whoever?
I really want people to start talking about it more, like talk about miscarriages more. It's actually really common and sucks, especially when you don't feel like anyone understands. I've had this many miscarriages and I just felt like I couldn't talk to anybody about it. It's such a like...
Yeah, don't talk about it. Just, it happened.
She had a miscarriage. It's like, why?
Because I guess people feel like they don't want to bring up that sad moment. Kind of like when somebody dies. Like when you're like, you're in a conversation like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna go out with my dad. What are you doing for Father's Day? Oh, my dad passed. And then you're just like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like an awkward moment. So I guess that's why people don't want to.
I understand. And that's what my mom said to me too. She's like, we don't want you to hurt. But sometimes getting it out.
It's better.
And just knowing, even if you're like, I had a miscarriage, that's all I want to say. Okay, hug me now. Like, that's fine. Just, I want people to feel connected, I guess. Because it happens all the time. And I don't want anybody to feel alone.
Yeah. Because I can imagine, like, you feel like people can feel like it was my fault. I did something wrong. And people can actually really start blaming themselves in those situations and go into depression.
Myself. And that's why I had to go on medication, which that's another thing.
How long were you blaming yourself? Like, how long did that, like, the blame game go? I
mean, sometimes still I'm like, where did I go wrong? And even my sister said to me, you did everything right.
You did.
You called the doctor right away. You did all your blood work, all of this. It just, but...
Yeah, it just wasn't meant for it, I feel. Like, God has his purposes for everything. And I always say never question him. And it's just... what was meant to happen, happened, and when it's meant to be, it will happen, right?
I agree.
And so when you went into like depression ever, are you still there or are you good?
Well, medication can be a magical thing. It has helped a lot, and I would like to eventually get back off of it because I've battled with depression off and on for years anyways. Who hasn't? But it just put me to a low that I just couldn't pull myself back out of, and I just needed help to function and take care of my family and my daughter. And I did want to say something else.
No, go ahead.
I hate this like stigma women have too, where it's like, oh, you've gone through that? Well, get over it. All right, get back to doing everything normal. Like, I'm in school right now. A professor told me I needed a note from my doctor.
Why? So look,
because I missed a class.
Yeah, I would have been like, you know what? Hey, I went through this. How about you go through and tell me how you feel? Wow.
I had a professor that understood completely. She was like, take your time, let me know. And then I had a male professor.
Oh, that's the one who said get over it. And
he didn't say get over it, but he was like, I'm going to need to know.
The actions, yeah.
I was like,
that's...
okay, I guess. And even my doctor's office was like...
Right, like bringing a note to like colleges or classes or whatever about a miscarriage. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That just kills me because that's the way it is for women. It's like, oh, you've just had a baby. We're not going to pay for maternity leave. You can file for disability for 6 weeks.
Right.
That's
it. That's so stupid. Like, do you not know we have to go through to do this? You know what I'm saying? Wow.
The states are really behind when it comes to maternity leave and things like that.
So one of the questions were, so what do you feel about, since you had miscarriages, they said, what do you feel about abortions?
It's not my place to tell anybody what they should do with their body. I don't think it should be a form of birth control. But I'm not going to tell you what you need to do with your body. Yeah. My dad's going to be really mad at this.
Why? Is he like this really big Christians who say you should not do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Well, Dad, I feel the same way because you never know what somebody is going through. So let's say her and her boyfriend, they should have been responsible, should have wore a condom. But you do have those moments where you're just in the moment, the spur of the moment, it happens, and then boom, wow, you're pregnant. And let's say you're in school, you're already struggling, trying to pay bills and doing this and do that, and that baby just isn't meant right now. And if you have that baby's you want to give that child the same life you had. And you don't want them to have to worry about what they're going to eat, what clothes they're going to wear.
Like, no matter what, you want your child to have
be happy, the best life. And if you can't give that, I feel like either do that, and everybody doesn't want to give their child up for adoption for somebody else to raise. You know what I'm saying?
And it's not even that. There are a lot of kids that need to be adopted. Just sit there, which makes me feel terrible too.
Yeah. Well,
it's
a touchy subject.
I mean,
but yeah,
I understand the question from having the miscarriages.
Yeah,
and how
to make you feel about abortions? Yeah.
Give me the baby.
No, right. Give it to me. I want a boy. But yeah, so.
Oh, I don't know, the little thing.
Yeah, I want to do the diapers. I can't breastfeed.
That is the best thing in the world.
Yeah, so what do you say to mothers who, because oh my God, I've heard that some women get upset when the baby just won't let them breastfeed. What does that make you?
Best. Even if you can't breastfeed, as long as your baby is healthy and getting fed, that's really what matters. And skin to skin is skin to skin. Like, put that baby on your chest, take your shirt off, put your baby on there, and feed him the bottle.
Yeah.
Clara would not take a bottle. She would only take boobies. So, I mean, my whole thing is as long as your baby is fed and healthy, there will still be a connection. And I know it feels super disappointing.
Because I guess some people feel like, that's the part of motherhood. I wanted to breastfeed my child.
You can still get so much of a connection. Yeah. Besides breastfeeding, even though breastfeeding is really neat.
Well, yeah. Oh my God. Well, thank you. I loved it. I learned a lot of stuff. That was a great conversation. Hopefully, you guys, you can hit her up. What's your Instagram so I can find you? They're probably gonna come in.
It's private.
Well, you can add some if you decide to.
They can DM me and I'll figure it out. But it's RACHL because I'm neat. 317. Okay. RACHL 317.
RACHL 317. Her Instagram is private, but if you want to DM,
it's private because my daughter's on it.
Right? Yeah. I'm the same way. You don't want all your people in your business.
That's my baby.
That's how Mama is. She said you can talk about me, but you messing my baby. It's on.
Mama Bear come die.
Right. Well, okay, you guys, this is Rachel. She's amazing. When I had my tonsils taken out, she's the one that brought me the soup. She's so sweet. Like, whenever I need anything, I used to be at Starbucks talking about dates then, too. They were always comforting me and everything. She was the quiet one, so.
I wasn't that quiet.
Girl, at first you were quiet. And then you loosened up, child.
Because I'm shy.
Right. Well, no, thank you for coming. I said thank you for coming like I'm at my house.
Thank you for coming.
But no, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. I couldn't even let her eat. She was talking so much. But it's okay.
I probably end up talking more. Like, I'm that anxious, like, talking person.
Yeah, she was scared at first. Like, what am I supposed to say? Just say whatever you feel. It comes from the heart.
I put makeup on.
You're so silly. You did for real. It looks natural.
I don't wear makeup very often because I'm a little lazy when it comes to, like...
No, but actually, I didn't even notice anything until you said it. She's like, I put makeup. That's good. Because I hate when girls put on too much and like clowns, child. No, you look good.
Oh, I don't do clowns.
Well, all right, you guys. Like I always say before I go, God only made one you. And if you don't be you, then nobody else will. Mwah.